Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folaning. Now, we started this particular conversation, I think it goes back to last week, Friday, and I'm talking about the Edo crisis. At the time, the crisis hadn't escalated to what it did the day after Friday, which by now, you know, there were dignitaries in Edo State, and they were attacked. Well, not so much that they were attacked, but a fracas happened, and quite frankly, they were in harm's way. And the way it's been expressed is that personalities, including the Oba of Lagos, no less, not that he was the only one, were actually in the middle of some sort of a melee. Now, you have heard yesterday the APC chairman, Oshiomhole, who, talking about the Edo situation, I don't know if we want to refer to it as one of the parties, but yeah, on the one side, people talk about Comrade Oshiomhole, and on the other side, people talk about Governor Godwin Obaseki, them being at loggerhead. Now, Oshiomhole came out after the event. You've heard the story, you've heard the speech, and he's apologized, quite frankly. Even apologized to the governor himself, apologized to the dignitaries that were put in that kind of a situation, and has pointed his finger squarely at the deputy governor. So we thought that we'd done all that we wanted to really do on it and let this matter resolve itself, then we'll report on that. But the conversation sort of wanted to continue. So we said, okay, we'll take it one more day, maybe, touch wood. I hope it is one more day before we go on to something else. But this morning, joining us to look at it, first of all, there's an Edo citizen and also a close neighbor of Edo State. All of them are here, so they know what's going on across the border or within the state. Who should I introduce first? Okay, there's a Mazi. We have a Mazi with us today. It happens. It's not just Mazi, that from Abia State alone.
From Arochukwu.
From Arochukwu. We also have another Mazi here. Libros Oshama, lawyer, public affairs analyst. Mazi, you are very welcome.
My pleasure.
It's just that I'm not sure that I'm qualified, but you know that thing that they do
Yes.
I would have tried to do it.
No,
but
after the program, I will give you three.
Thank you very much for coming on, Libros.
My pleasure.
And Mr. Chuks Moko, he's a publisher and a social commentator. Good morning, Chuks. And you see that I called you Mr. Because sitting next to as colorfully and traditionally dressed as this. Anyway, great to have you as always.
Thank you for having me.
Indeed, thank you very much for coming on. Now, I was saying things about some people being Edo and some people being neighbors, and that's because, you are squarely from Edo State. And you are squarely from, where? Where in the Niger Delta, Governor?
Delta. It's a Bendelites. We are both
Bendelites. See, they're both Bendelites.
Political partisanship
divided, but Delta State from Edo State. But really, the only reason why that is significant is that you guys are close to the place, and more importantly, you keep your ear close to the ground. And I'd like to, you've heard all the accusations and counter accusations. Of course, the governor in Edo State has put out his own disclaimer that he had nothing whatsoever to do with it, but there's the deputy governor who also says that he has had nothing to do with it. In brief, because this is we have a little time, in brief, would you like to, Libros, maybe give me how you see this event, and perhaps, very importantly, can APC, the ruling party, can it really handle this event, that is the political ramifications of it, or maybe there are none?
Yeah, thank you. First and foremost, let me join Oshiomhole also to apologize to the dignitaries that were present, because this is my area. I'm from Esako. I'm from Afemai, Uneme in Afemai, and so it's a bit of shock when I first heard the news, and so I would want to use the opportunity to apologize to the Oba of Lagos, and then to the dignitaries that were present there. But a brief fact of what transpired. It was a 2-day event. On Friday, that was the first day. Actually, Oshiomhole built the university. There has been this misconception of, is it a state university or is it owned by Oshiomhole and all of that?
State University.
It's a Edo State University.
It's a public university.
And so, being their first convocation or so, they also wanted to use that as an opportunity to showcase, achievement of, the APC in Edo State. And if you listen to his speech at the podium, he commended the governor also for continuing its legacy, but that more can be done. But while mounting the podium, some members of the Obaseki Shaibu mandate group, we're chanting 4+4, 4+4, 4+4. And that was on Friday, on the first day of the ceremony. And the deputy governor, that was why they said that he was the one that led talks. Deputy governor took a bike, Okada. He rode on Okada from Azama Primary School in Jetu to Iyamho. Videos are there. And so, with all of that, and it was like, when a governor is visiting a place, it's like, okay, we need crowd to show that, the governor is on ground. So all of that also created a charged atmosphere for a convocation and not a political rally. And so the youth in Iyamho also saw that as an opportunity to embarrass one of theirs. Because Oshiomhole is seen as, not just a hero, but a tower in the whole of his circle. And so anything that will ridicule him or diminish his status, they won't take it. So on Saturday, the same deputy governor, after riding on the bike also to the venue, because of what happened on the first day, the vice chancellor refused this crowd from entering the school premises. Because at a point on Friday, even the guest speaker, that's the CBN governor, had to insist that he wouldn't continue his speech until they keep calm. So on Saturday, the vice chancellor, admonished party that this was not a campaign rally. It was a convocation. And so the police should refuse that crowd entering the premises. And so they refused them. Philip Shaibu addressed the crowd outside the premises of the university. Mind you, Oshiomole's house is, I think, almost opposite the university. So after the Saturday event, the Oba, because on the first day, the governor didn't visit Oshiomole's house. It was when the Oba of Lagos came on Saturday, and after the event, naturally, they'll pay courtesy visit to the national chairman of the party. So while they were going there, some of the youths in the community also identified some persons, about 2 of them, as people who were part of those that, were fingered in the attack in Oshiomole's house in Benin, coupled with the deputy governor that led Okada riders to the event the previous day. And so they insisted that bus will not be allowed into Oshiomole's house. But that is the event.
And not that the deputy governor was in that bus.
The deputy governor was also in the bus.
He was also in that bus on the second day.
With the governor,
yes,
on the second day. With the governor.
Okada day was the day before that.
No, 2 days. The first day he rode Okada. The second day, after addressing the crowd, he wore a white top. He now joined them in the bus to go to Oshiomole's house. Okay. So the youth in Iyamho insisted that the deputy governor and others would not be allowed into that premises. So it is that event that happened in Oshiomole's house that is now reported as, youth attacked the convoy of the governor and the Oba of Lagos in Oshiomole's house, not actually reporting what transpired before. And that's why also I salute Oshiomhole for even apologizing to the governor and the dignitary, but to say, look, you need a further investigation to investigate also the culpability of the deputy governor in all of this.
Indeed. And, picking it up here, Chooks, the deputy governor has consistently maintained that this has nothing to do with me. As the APC chairman has said that the blame lies squarely with him. No doubt he also has his own findings of the matter. What do you think, Chooks?
I not say, you never hear these politicians own up to the consequences of their actions. You never see them. I was humbled myself to see Oshiomhole in a subdued manner apologize to the governor and all that. I'm sure he was taken aback by what has happened.
Apologizing because this thing happened right on his doorstep, so to speak.
Exactly. So, but he also made
and he had invited the dignitaries for lunch.
Exactly. But you know what is worrisome in all of these things is that when we are done with all this, it is the presidency, APC government at the federal level that we will all face.
Yeah.
The states are retrogressing continuously because of all these local politics that are going on. Come on. The Oshiomhole issue and the Governor Obaseki and the deputy, they are all members of the same political party. Edo State is their fault and all that, you would think that they will be concerned about the development of the state. You think they would be interested in the welfare of the citizens of that state. But what do you have is political gladiators who are fighting each other, who are quarreling with each other. And I think that is very unfortunate. I think that that deputy governor must be investigated like Oshiomhole demanded. You need to call in investigators. You need to get the governor's attention to investigate. I mean, like Oshiomhole said, the videos are there.
Yeah.
Evidence, we have evidence, in video form showing what happened. He cannot be competing with Oshiomhole in that same community. He cannot suddenly become a political godfather because you were taken for the National Assembly to come and become a governor, and then you suddenly think. And that is what is going on all over Nigeria. You have all these local politicians fighting each other and leaving their primary responsibilities. So I think that we also need to recognize that they always want us to come to this place and discuss them. And by discussing them, they assume this thing that they are not. So all these things is aimed at promoting them, making them become national heroes, and I think it's high time we stop celebrating nonsense. We live in an era where we must develop our economy, especially at the state levels.
Some people have said that, look, although it depends on who you're listening to, there are those who are saying that the governor is getting on with the job, and that's one of his problems. He's not a politician. He just thinks being a technocrat is what it takes. And but there are others saying that governance is suffering when all these elephants, when all these elephants are squabbling.
The amount of time they've spent, the money they have spent, the energy they spend, if they spend those kind of resources on the people, if the evidence will be palpable, will be there for us to see. I think that the Edo State deserve more, because I am aware of how Oshiomhole fought PDP in that state. Before he became governor, he lost that. He won the election. It was stolen from him. He fought through the judiciary, won that mandate and all that. That should not be thrown away. And by the way, recognize that Edo State, I think, is the only APC state in that zone.
Yeah.
So that governor must be under pressure and must be very careful not to betray the trust of the people and of the party, of his party, on him. I mean, I don't know why you should have a squabble with your partner or with a man that you've been friends for over how many years, and you just can't sort it out and allow these things to continue to happen and all that. They should elevate this discourse, this governance to another level where none of these things, is an issue.
Okay.
They must minimize all these things and elevate governance and leadership to another level, especially in Edo State, given the quality of the human resources they have in the place.
One moment, please. Good morning, Mr. George. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling.
And the same to your guest
Yes.
there. Uncle Yori, truth must be told. What is happening in Edo State is a fallout of the political intolerance that is existing between Oshiomhole and the governor. Uncle Yori, I was in Edo State last week. I was in Benin City. I was in Epuma. Something took me there. I was in Sabongida Ora. I was in Auchi and Agbo. I can tell you, Uncle Yori, the pulse of the public opinion on ground there sways heavily against Oshiomhole. People are angry with him in the way and manner he's handling this crisis, to the extent that elections be held today, and Obaseki joins another party. Obaseki is clear 95% of the votes. That's what I saw on ground. How is it that as the political head, so to speak, of the state, you cannot handle a small crisis, and yet you are in charge of wherever crises are arising in any state, in 36 states of this country, as chairman of the party? You should be able to resolve the one that is in your own house first. If you are not able to do that, how are you able to resolve the ones in other states? As I speak with you, as we speak, Uncle Yori, all the states that APC lost during the last election due to the crisis in the party, there's none of the states that those crises have been resolved. As we speak now, none of them, including Edo State.
Okay.
And the legislators that are loyal to Oshiomhole are still in Abuja. You can't have peace when there are troubles on ground. That is what is resulting to what we are seeing.
So you think, Mr. George, that if care is not taken, there might be political consequences that won't favor APC if care is not taken?
It's obvious, Uncle Yori. I just told you that if elections were held today,
yeah,
and Obaseki decides to abandon APC because of the shenanigans existing there now and go to another party, he will win that election and APC will lose the state.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for calling in. When Mr. George was saying that, from your reaction, I saw that you didn't agree.
You see, let's take this thing in perspective. When Oshiomhole came as governor of Edo State, Edo State was completely a PDP state. He had to wrestle the powers that be in the state to be able to even win back some persons from that PDP. See, as we speak, there are some people who sold are in PDP in Edo State, but they are in APC because it's the government at the center in the state, and also because it's the government at the center at the federal government. And so it is convenient for them to remain in APC while their soul is in PDP. And then secondly, the crisis mainly, it's not between Oshiomhole and Obaseki.
Yeah.
The crisis mainly is about supporters. We saw what happened in Lagos State also. When Obaseki came, Obaseki said, we can no longer share money. And some people, some political commentators were of the view that as a governor in a party that you served in, that it was a bit insensitive to say that, look, nobody should come to government house, we can no longer share money. The impression you are giving to the opposition is that government house under Oshiomhole was meant for sharing money. And truly, indeed, when these things started happening, some person, because in Nigeria, police is about gossip, mainly. Gossip took the center stage. Some persons who their tenure had run out felt, oh, look, this governor has said we can no longer share money. And so because of that, those of us that work for the party were not compensated. You saw people like Honorable Osagie, who was in the House of Rep, also coming out. They were the people that fired the first salvo. And then the national election. Edo State, as we speak today, cannot be said to be a whole one-party state. That's why at the national election, you saw that both the center, Edo Central, and Edo South were taken by PDP, while Edo North, Oshiomhole's as is maintained APC. And then at the state election, the House of Assembly, the APC swept all the seats in the House of Assembly. And with that, there was also a time where some of the party members felt that the governor was hobnobbing with some PDP stalwarts like Tommy Kimi in the state, and that he wasn't comfortable for their party. So these are issues that are in the public domain.
Okay.
But then for Oshiomhole, I also agree that there is need for parties to sit down, for all these parties to sit down, because PDP is waiting in the log to latch in on, any slip.
Take advantage
and
of
some
any.
people also, I also feel that some people who will be advising both sides will be members of the opposition who would want to take advantage of any opportunity that they would see.
And I'm going to come back to, I was going to come back to Chooks with the whole question of, well, the governor over there banning touts and, explaining that, look, since I came, it's become a lot peaceful. If you're not an official, a government official, you can't collect revenue, etc., etc. But in the meantime, there's a call in from Wari, and he's holding on. Okay, Ali McKenna. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, sir. Okuyori.
Good morning, sir. Please go ahead.
Please, I want to congratulate my brother there, Ushoma.
What for?
I am from Agenebo there.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Okuyori, it's quite unfortunate that sometimes when you try to build your political line in terms of development as a foundation, there are some people that will come and destroy that foundation. You see, the last caller, George, he only visited that place. I don't even know if he's from Edo State. Just like what Ushoma was saying, in the last presidential election, you should notice very well, even Obaseki lost his 2 units to PDP. The other place APC won an election, said do not. So when I see that video, that the deputy governor, Shaibu, a deputy governor with all the security apparatus decide those security and enter Okada to a convocation ceremony. Ah, man, we are practicing democracy. I want to say one thing. I know people are clear on the line. Please and please, Edo State belong to all of us. The deputy governor and the governor, they should know where they started from and they should know where they are going.
Okay.
Mr. George said if they are to conduct election in Edo State today, Obaseki will win. Let Obaseki go and contest election. If he will not lose his full unit, they should give a spade. For someone to come out and apologize to the governor again, and Oba of Lagos. I was even expecting from the deputy governor to issue a statement. I saw in today's paper defending himself without putting shame on himself. I really doubt if himself is going to come back as the deputy governor in Edo State. Thank you very much. God bless Oshiomhole and the other colleagues there.
Thank you very much. The other person being Mr. Chuks Woko, who I'm directing this question to. Give me your thoughts on this, because much has been made of the fact that Governor Obaseki, he's much more of a technocrat, according to those who are observing it, than a politician. And this is leading to some of the problems in the place. And in particular, this whole matter about we don't share money anymore.
You don't know how
and the innuendo that Libros pointed out.
But you don't know how much of a politician that you are until you are thrown into the field. All of us, we are political animals. Yeah. All of us. Those innate potentials, those innate natures, they are there. My concern is that we should stop this whole drama that we're doing all across the state, whether it's in Zamfara or whatever. The time has been spent. We need to elevate Edo people to the next level in terms of caring for them, in terms of providing for them. All these talks and all these deputy governors that are climbing Okadas and all these, I am a technocrat. For me, it's not the issue. The issue is that you cannot have a relationship with people without having areas of disagreement. Why can't we sit down? What is the problem with our politicians resolving issues? Do you know that the issues...
You know, that question has been asked in relation to this. There are those saying that, why don't Oshiomhole as a political father call his political son? There are those saying, what is wrong with the political son going to his political father?
Exactly. You cannot betray people continuously on any guise. I have listened to Oshiomhole. Now, if you follow the argument that George made earlier, it's more difficult for you to settle your domestic problem. Because politically speaking, see, the way politicians act at the local level is that they don't want you to grow. Not many people are happy that Oshiomhole has suddenly become a national chairman of a political party. No, not too many people are happy. He took over from his states, a man from his states. So they are constantly working to diminish each other.
Okay.
So that is very important. Why it might not be
background is important.
Yeah, peace between two people must be, mutual.
Mutually
if I want to make peace with you and you do not agree to that peace, whatever, because you do not want me to be seen as a statesman, what do I do?
Okay. Caleb, thank you very much for holding on. Apologies in Auchi. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, this is not Caleb. This is Bernard.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Bernard. So sorry. I don't know where I got Caleb from. Good morning, Mr. Bernard.
Okay, I'm from Auchi, Edo State. And by virtue of my residency, I must be able to tell you that I know a lot of the politics that is playing in Edo State. As a matter of fact, if you recall, before Oshiomhole came into office, Oshiomhole came into office through the court. And if you remember very well, there was a time that late Chief Tony Aneni was more of Oshiomhole's godfather. I made bold to say this because when he was to appoint his commissioner or his cabinet, some members of his cabinet were from Chief Tony Aneni. And that brings me to the fact that there was an alliance between Oshiomhole and late Chief Tony Aneni when that case was on. So that therefore shows that Tony Aneni gave him his moral support, probably maybe financial support, to ensure that he wins that case in court. Because at that time, he capitalized on the problem himself, the problem Oshiomhole and then he was having with Oshiomhole. And that was how he got his victory in the court. Then we were also aware how Oshiomhole rubbished Lecture to Nyaneni. How he rubbished him anywhere he goes to. So why don't you think today that what he did to Chief Tonaneni is what his own godson is doing to him today?
Okay,
so,
okay. I see. I waited to see where this would land. So what you're saying is that what? It's karma.
Yeah, it's reaping.
Yes,
but unfortunately,
that is karma. It's karmic.
But unfortunately,
yes, I see it as karma.
Okay.
I see it as karma.
You can.
Thank you, sir.
Now, yes.
Do you have a little more? Just a bit more, please.
Quickly add to this issue of running up and down over Iyamho and all of that.
Okay, but very, very briefly.
Okay, on that, it will be very funny for anyone to believe that a convoy that the governor was part of, that the governor could send people to come and intimidate himself.
No.
I don't know how anybody would believe that.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I've got to rush off on a break now, but thank you very much for calling. In fact, what you said, we'll get the comment on it as soon as I come back, and we'll continue to take your calls as well. Stay with us. Okay, welcome back. And Libros Oshioma and Chuks Nwoko still in the house. And, you know, as it were, we're commenting on the situation in Edo, the weekend, violence. And, you know, there have been apologies, there's commentary. But, gentlemen, let me ask you, at the end of the day, are we, now that it's been brought to this particular boil, are we closer to peace and normalcy in the place, or are we still as far apart? Because there are some positive signs. I would look at it as an outsider. The APC chairman has actually apologized, because he felt a need to do so. So all these are statesman-like. So are we closer to peace returning in Edo State?
I don't think so. Permit me to state my reasons briefly.
Okay. In spite of all the seemingly...
No, not at all. Because a lot had passed under the water. Even
a
though
lot
in
of water
politics...
passed under the bridge.
Yes, a lot of water passed under the bridge. Even in politics, you say you can never say never. But with what is going on, a lot has happened that to be, almost an impossibility for there to be peace.
It's like a duel. And there can only be one man standing at the end of the day.
Exactly. Because if you remember, when this started, there were also reports that the governor went to visit Oshiomhole, and they both said, look, we really are not quarreling. But we also know that there are people on both sides. And then subsequently, the governor came and said...
Because you said it's a matter of supporters more than the personalities themselves.
Yes, it's a matter of supporters more than the personality. And then people came in to say, oh, yeah, the governor came out to say, yes, a second term for me is given. And also, these are like challenges.
Yeah.
And then thirdly, people said the governor is a technocrat. He's not a politician. But we saw Fashola in Lagos. Fashola was a technocrat, but he allowed people play politics for him. And so that idea of, you being the technocrat and also being the politician, definitely at some point, one had to give. And so now that is the political side that is giving. And unfortunately, the deputy governor, who ought to be playing the politics of it, is from the same region with Oshiomhole. And I told one of my very respected brother yesterday, who is close to him, and I said, look, the deputy governor goofed, and let's tell him the truth. Because our problem is, when our leaders goofed, we fail to tell them. We fantasize, over it. Okay. But in this case, you do not go to the home of a man to challenge him so openly, and you expect his people to fold their hands.
Chuks, do you think we're any closer to peace? What is your perspective?
You cannot be playing politics and be talking about peace. Crisis and all these things. Look, I think there's something we're missing here. We assume that what we have here is in the Edo State or in Nigeria is democracy. No, we've moved to politics. Politics is just one leg of democracy. And this politics, embedded in it is crisis and what you have going on. Because once you remove that element of crisis, you lost that flavor. This is how they thrive. Because don't forget that in the States, these people that were called supporters are retired members of House of Assembly, National Assembly.
Yeah,
they don't have
exactly.
work. So if you remove this element of crisis and bring peace, they'll be out of work.
Oh,
so
dear.
peace is very far away.
Oh dear. Okay, Danjuma in Auchi, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you for this discussion.
Sure.
What I want to say is this. Oshiomhole, as we all know, used to be a governor of this state. And he got the support of everybody in the state. The question now is, why not allow these persons to carry out their duties? That you brought in the Shaibu, the deputy governor from Abuja, does it warrant you to not turn him a puppet? Somebody will not be controlling. Forgetting that this man is not there to represent you as Oshiomhole. He's there to represent the interest of the entire state. And from this very constituency, and we all know what is happening there. So Oshiomhole should please allow this man to reign. He should allow them to rule. That you heard there does not mean they will be there to work for you. They are there to work for Edo State. Oshiomhole should please allow peace to reign in Edo State, just the way we have been the peace. Oshiomhole is the problem of Edo State. Simple.
Thank you very much for calling in. That's your perspective.
Yeah,
on the
but
matter.
briefly, you know, it's like I said, it's less of Oshiomhole and Obaseki, but more of the people. And so when I hear people
do
say,
you agree with Chuk's analysis that, look, these are people that if you take away the crisis,
yes,
they're
I
going to
agree.
be jobless.
I agree.
You know,
And so
they're
that's
gonna be
why.
jobless.
Yes, I agree.
They don't have anything to do.
I agree completely. And that's why when you hear
But this
people
is the kind
say,
of thing, this is the kind of sentiment that Obaseki appeared to be against. That look, I
Exactly.
can't just have people in here because and then be
but
funding
where
them.
The problem is in politics in Nigeria, you can't take that away.
We can't take that away.
Because
away.
and
You can't
so-
call it leakage. You can't call it
No,
wastage.
no.
You can't
Look,
call it
Because you see,
not business as usual.
What he's supposed to have learned
Wait.
is the example of Ambode is a very good example to this man. We don't learn from whatever. You see, it's not generally. You see, Obaseki is a very quiet guy.
Now,
For me,
now for you people though.
Wait.
One has cited Fashola, the other one is citing Ambode as important examples.
yeah, because you see, the political party, the vehicle, you can't jump down from a moving vehicle or for a
Unless
plane.
you know how. No, unless you know how.
No, you not
So,
just
yes,
you
you
just
have to know how.
Molu conductors
No,
in
no,
the day, back in the day.
No. Even at that.
Yes. I get the point you're making.
Those Mule drivers,
I know what you're
their
saying.
conductors have been in that business for a long time.
Okay.
This man has not been in that business for a long
Sorry,
time. He
Chukwu,
needs to calm down
sorry,
and
Chukwu,
learn the
let me-
ropes.
That is
And ride on somebody's back. That's the
Governor
Obaseki.
Obaseki.
Let me
Yes.
address one point, very critical. It's always very common for people to say, let Oshiomhole allow them be. In all of this, I've never heard the governor or his deputies say that Oshiomhole is interfering with their governance. And so people read this into it, that there's some form of interference somewhere.
It's just
I
perception.
have never heard both the governor and his deputy say he is interfering with governance. What is at play here? It's like what you have said. There are people who felt we have worked for this party.
Yeah.
And so we also have this sense of entitlement and feel we should be compensated.
Sure.
And those people naturally worked for the party on the basis, maybe on the promise that Oshiomhole had. Don't worry, when you work, you benefit.
Yes.
But the man that came after him felt, look, no, it shouldn't be so. I think at that point, what should have happened is for the leadership of the party at the state to sit down with the national leadership to say, here we are, we have a crisis here.
And
So it should be a give and take.
Let's understand how to share.
Yes, so let's take from here and take from here. But when
can't
you
talk
now
about share. I
decide,
can talk about compensation and reward for the work done. It's true.
so when you now decide to say, no, I will not.
It's not sharing. It's
I don't
compensation
believe
and
it's
reward.
sharing. It's
You see,
compensation, not necessarily cash.
Until we move away from this politics, it is common. When we come on programs like this, people want to pray for you. They say, Chooks, I pray that you are given appointment. That's in Nigeria of today.
Okay.
You
Sorry, sir.
remember what happened with budgets? when he was appointed, people said you didn't work for the party.
Yeah.
And you have been a vociferous critic of this party. So you cannot, and silently, that is what is playing out in Edo.
Okay, let me not delay Mr. Joshua any further. Good morning, sir. Apologies for the delay.
Okay, Uncle Yori, good morning.
Okay,
and
good morning.
I greet your guest.
Good morning.
I think, thankfully, I'm neutral. And
Everybody here is neutral. Everybody here is neutral.
you know,
not from Edo State.
some people are taking position. They talk about Oshiomhole or...
I'm sure you're going to take one too now. Whichever way you see it. Let's hear it.
And now I think I have an understanding of this matter.
Okay.
And I will just...
That's part of our objective.
Maybe advise the gladiators, possibly the chairman of the party and the former governor, to accept that he has been betrayed. I think the governor has played the first card on him, and that is the issue now. I remember that
betrayal. It's a very powerful word. It's a very strong word to use.
Said it here.
Especially since you started off saying, "Look,
I'm neutral.
I want to be neutral."
No, I think Oshiomhole would expect that the governor will be loyal to him. Because in politics, the truth is, people call it godfatherism. I think it's mentorship.
Okay.
I believe that Oshiomhole produced the governor, because I don't know his platform before he became a governor. Oshiomhole used his own platform, so he probably wants to build on it.
Okay.
But Edo State is a PDP state. I think they are a conservative state. So the governor is now playing that card on Oshiomhole. He has gone back to align with PDP.
But you don't know that for sure.
So,
it's true.
Hello, sir.
Well, somebody is saying it is true, but I wonder, do you know that for sure?
Yes, no, I've been following it up.
You visited the governor of Delta State?
I'm using my sense.
Okay.
You see,
okay. I'm watching the body language.
The governor has gone to align with PDP in the state because he now wants re-election, which he knows that might not come through the platform he came the first time. So they should just accept that this is gone. Whether it is APC or whoever, they are gone in that state.
Okay.
It is PDP now, and I hope they will find a way to reconcile themselves to that truth.
Interesting. Thank you very much, Mr. Joshua, for calling in, because now bringing in the parties, I think the observation was made that, look, when people were talking about the karmic aspect of Aneni Oshiomhole, I think the point was made that, wait, the difference here is that Aneni was in PDP.
Yes.
But in this case, both parties happen to be in the same party.
But what he also said is that he repeated what I said when he talked about betrayal. But he also used the word that is very, very fundamental in the discussion, that of loyalty.
Mentorship and loyalty.
Loyalty. When you want to find out whether somebody is loyal to you, let an issue arise between you and the person. And that's what I said that to Obaseki, that I know dealing with people like Obaseki is very difficult. I have had to deal with people like that who are very quiet and whatever. You never really tell what's going on in their mind. But I have said here that he must be very careful. I don't know the details of what is going on, but what is important is that you do not betray a man that held your hand. If a man holding your hand, then loyalty. Allow circumstance to arise between you and somebody. Use it to test their loyalty to you and find out whether they are human beings. Because little things like this, what is it that is going on that cannot be sorted out? Dangote has gotten involved. Prominent people has gotten involved. This thing is going on and on and on. If it's the people of the state that is paramount in your mind, none of this will arrive. But I can tell you that politicians at local level do not like each other to arise. Oshiomhole served 2 terms as a governor in Edo State. Now he's become a national figure and all that. That is a major issue. I have played politics at a local level. It's a major issue.
Okay, one moment, please, because
they do not want him to continue to be that big in Nigeria politics.
Mazi Okoroa, for good morning, sir, and thank you for holding on.
My fellow Mazi.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Barrister Mazi Litros.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Mazi.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Ogawoku.
Morning, sir.
Honestly speaking, Edo crisis is redeemable. If the parties involved are ready to do the needful for the betterment of Edo people and Nigeria at large.
Okay.
There are 2 factors or 3 factors that plays the role. The one, Godfatherism. 2, this is our turn. 3, give us the chance. Now you ask yourself, when all these things are happening, who are the people they are using? It's the youth. And the youth themselves are people that are supposed to think about their own future, what they have, what they will do in future. But rather, they will be allowed themselves to be used as a weapon of mass destruction, bringing such kind of embarrassment to the state and Nigeria, which is not. When a chief comes to a place now, you give him that respect. But a situation whereby a youth who has a future of himself for his own family will be used for what? For a stipend. And you collect the stipend, go there, cause confusion, at the end of you go back to that. Now, what plans do the youth of this country have for the There's no old man or old women that participate in that. These are only young boys and young girls. Now, the question now is this. There are 2 things that are going to play now. Remove Oshiomhole. How will Obaseki move? That is the question now. Remove Oshiomhole. Keep Oshiomhole. Can Obaseki move on his own? 2, Obaseki now, your work. Have you delivered for the number of years you have stayed in Edo State? Yes or no? That is the question mark. 2 things. Remove Oshiomhole. Obaseki, have you worked or you have not worked? Thank you very much. Have a blessed day in Lagos.
Indeed. Well, thank you very much for calling in.
Sorry, quickly.
Sure.
I want to take it from when you talked about Neni and Oshiomhole, because it is easy for people to say, karma is at play here. But I very much doubt, because politics, the way it's played in Nigeria, I always say, we lose sight of the fact of a lot of things, issues. When Oshiomhole came, Edo State, the way it was constituted, that at that time you hear PDP share the money. Chief Tony Aneni, God rest his soul, at some point, the road to my village, Anegbete, we were informed by the state government that it's only federal government that can construct a road to Anegbete in Isako Central. And so, when Oshiomhole came, you already had the entrenched PDP system. And also, at various fora, he had said that he got the support of the then president, Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, who also contributed to his legal fee. And definitely he would get the support of Tony Aneni. But at some point, they fell out because he had to maintain, his party, the consistency of his party, at the poll. And mind you, PDP had majority in the House of Assembly also. And so for any decision they needed to take, they will have to go to Aneni. He needed to break that deadlock also. But for this case, Oshiomhole is the national chairman of the party. The Governor Obaseki did not just have an alliance with Oshiomhole. Oshiomhole handed him the ticket. And from inception, like I said, we didn't see Oshiomhole interfere in the governance and affairs of the state, even though some people will say, yes, definitely he nominated some commissioners. But also, when the crisis started was when the supporters...
Oshiomhole pointed out that the one that can be attributed
eventually got dropped.
Was fired, So, in other words, you understand what that means? When
the supporters started the idea of we worked for the party and we naturally must be compensated, that was where the point... that was where the disagreement started. And then the governor going about saying, look, we can no longer share money to anybody. Even if you don't want to share money, there is a way of, you have to be diplomatic about it.
It's interesting. Because, sorry, sir. The words that were used that have led to this, I think it started from Mr. George and other people, talking about betrayal, talking about loyalty. Forgive me, Mr. George, if it wasn't you, but, I just looking at those 2 words, loyalty and betrayal, this is a problem. Against the APC, the backdrop of APC's stand that no more business as usual, and all of that, and we're going to plug out. Now, the academic, political, understanding and political science is one thing. But this whole...
The practical aspect of the politics is another thing.
It seems to be another thing, because whereas we're saying, well, the ruling party is saying it's no more business as usual, from what we've been hearing here, there are aspects of business as usual that you can't touch.
That aspect of the vehicle, that aspect that you're talking about is the vehicle. And
when you hear politicians...
Okay, sorry, I'm being told, and I'm going to come back to you, gentlemen. I'm being told that Mr. Ehi in Magodo is standing by. Good morning, sir. Sorry for keeping you waiting.
Good morning, Mr. Yori.
Good morning, sir.
You have kept me for over 3 minutes. You've been doing that for some time now.
Okay.
Morning to you, Mr. Yori.
I'll watch it. I'll watch it.
Morning to you, Mr. Yori. Morning to my brother Libros. I don't know his name, Manzi Libros. Morning to your other guests there.
Yes.
Mr. Yori, like I told you the other day, the problem in the Edo State is about personal interest.
Yes, that's
It has
true.
not to do with the people. The problem you are seeing in Edo going on today is about two individuals who are trying to wrestle power from each other. See, the truth is...
But people have said it's not about Oshiomhole and Obaseki. They say it's about the supporters.
That's what I'm saying. And I'll tell you one thing. There is only one solution to this problem.
Sure.
The solution is this. No matter what you say, even when the president himself gets involved, the problem will not be resolved. The problem can only be resolved when Obaseki is assured by the party that is going to get a return ticket. Anything short of that, I can assure you, this problem will linger until the election. There is no two ways about it. Because Obaseki is fighting for his soul. The fact is that Oshiomhole don't want him back. That is the simple truth. And the only solution to this problem that will resolve this problem, just assure him that he's going to get a return ticket. And once he gets that assurance from the party, those who lead the party, I can tell you this problem.
We made a number of assumptions. That's
not true.
And I think the principal one is where you stated categorically that Oshiomhole doesn't want Obaseki
very presumptuous.
back. I don't know. I don't know.
How can you know that?
But that's just...
What will he benefit by not... Don't forget that they are out
of sorts. They are out of sorts.
Hold on.
But that doesn't mean he doesn't want him back.
Hold on. What is Oshiomhole or the APC going to gain by not wanting him back? That is number one. Number two, Oshiomhole, you must understand. Maybe you don't know the kind of person that he is. Oshiomhole is brilliant. Do you understand what I'm saying? He knows better. I know as a young man how he fought a PDP in Edo State. With his mouth.
Yeah, but
at this point in Edo State political evolution, what will he gain by not allowing this man?
Well,
6 months ago, they
had when you say what will he gain, we have been using words like betrayal. We've been using words like betrayal and loyalty in this conversation.
But let me quickly say something here.
You know, when Mr. He says,
if you're not loyal, all you need to do is mend your ways. Because like I said to you, if he went to his gate and he was embarrassed and treated the way he was treated, your relationship with Oshiomhole is being tested.
Okay. All right.
And we will find out whether you're still loyal to him.
But quickly, here we also need to, get some pictures clearly. Because if the supporters are insisting that the understanding that they had before you came on board, you have breached with impunity, no politician stand alone. In Lagos, Tinubu would probably had wanted Ambode to come back. But the supporters who felt, look, we feel betrayed. The party members who feel betrayed. And if you go that way, we will not follow you. So what is playing out in Edo State here now is beyond Oshiomhole. People had come out to openly criticize.
Just like Tinubu is reputed to have told the presidency that the matter is beyond me.
And
it's not me anymore.
For Edo State, people that are insisting and urging the governor on probably know more than he knows. And I think the best way out of this, both parties have consistently agreed that there are cracks. But it is not too late to go back and mend fences and change ways.
It's not an undoable situation.
Yes,
it's not.
Change ways of doing things.
Mr. He said that this crisis is going to linger in the absence of the point he made.
With the guy that is in Awuchi talking about Kama and all those things that he was, and this guy who called talking about how that Oshiomhole, just imagining what, with this type of people, there can never be peace. So the two of them have to decide, and that peace must come from the government.
Wait now, which type of people? The type of that made those comments. It was a valuable comment. It's the way he saw it.
I'm just saying that
that's how he saw it, and you are saying it the way you see it.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is that I am not from Edo State. Do you understand what I'm saying? What will bring peace to that place, which I doubt, is the governor needs to constantly humble himself because you're already a governor anyways.
And does the
like if you go and say, if you go and say I'm sorry,
yes.
It doesn't remove you
is
from
not
being governor.
sacrosanct.
And that's what leadership lacks in Africa, in
Second
Nigeria.
term
And
We
does,
do
does,
not
does,
know
the,
how
does
to.
the chairman have the duty to be what
He has
that word?
apologized.
Well,
I saw it. I saw it on. I saw it.
But you have said that in spite of those apologies and all those things that no, you don't see peace.
No,
very
but
close.
it's because of those other people. These politicians. These idle politicians.
They say we got to go.
Quickly.
We got to go now.
Quickly,
We got
30
to go.
seconds, please.
I don't.
Quickly.
15. Quick.
15 seconds.
What do you?
The only way we can move forward is, irrespective of whose side you belong, once a leader errs, there is need for us to tell that leader that you have erred. On this case, the deputy governor leading thugs and Okada riders to Iyamho was uncalled for, was unnecessary.
Libros
and
Oshiomhole,
that provoked
lawyer and public
whatever
affairs
happened
analyst.
thereafter.
Thank you very much for coming on the program. I'm Mr. Chuks Nwoko, publisher and social communicator. Thank you very much for coming on. Gentlemen, we're indebted to you. Thank you very much. So that's our program. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Iyori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.